Hi, and welcome to Girl Talk. Yes, we are here today with Cathy Ulmer, and we're going to be talking. There's so many things to talk about, y'all. We weren't really sure what we were going to talk about. But it's a glorious, wonderful day.
It is.
And I have to say, when I went out today to get the newspaper, my black car looked a little bumblebee-like.
Little green,
it
yellow.
Was, yeah, yellow. Yeah, so COVID, coronavirus, seasonal allergy, cold and flu season. Yeah, I'm just going to sit back and let you explain it all to us.
We're in the gamut of it right now.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're coming in and you're coughing and sneezing, like it just could be a plethora of things. So really, first of all, just trying to make sure it's not COVID. So, you know, you're not going out and it's hard, but it's a good first start. But really just preparing for seasonal allergies. We're just getting into it. So yeah, starting out with things that can help prevent the allergies.
Okay, I'd like to know that.
Yeah, so one of the things is just maybe start doing your saline or your nasal washes so you're not getting the pollen stuck in your nasal cavity.
Okay, so talk me through saline.
Okay, so there is just saline nasal sprays, which aren't as good at rinsing, but you just kind of squirt them in, and the saline coats your nasal cavity and helps catch those pollen or allergens as they go in.
See, I don't really have allergies, so this is all new to me. My husband really suffers from them.
Yeah, and the nasal rinses, which are like the neti pots.
Yes.
Those you can kind of put some normal saline in, and then you pour it into one nostril and out the other, and then this side and out the other. And that just washes it out. So that's a good start. Starting your antihistamine or starting your steroid nasal spray now, because steroid nasal sprays take 2 to 4 weeks to like really come into an effect.
What would be an example? Is that
like
an
Flonase,
Flonase,
Nasacort?
Okay.
Really, to speak on Afrin, that is a decongestant. So be cautious with that, because if you use it for more than 5 days, you get rebound congestion. So if you start using that every day for more than 5 days, suddenly you're just going to be more congested. So we really want to stick to the steroid nasal sprays to help prevent the allergens.
What is the allergy? What is the pollen doing to me?
So what the pollen is doing is it's kind of making your body see a foreign object in it.
Okay.
So it's building up an immune response. And our natural immune response creates that stuffiness and that mucus, because they're just trying to push out that allergen.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, and so your eyes water, trying to push it out. So you might look for some like eye drops to put in, some antihistamine eye drops.
Are some people more prone to an allergic reaction with pollen than others?
Yes, yes and no. It's kind of, some of it's like once you move to an area and you've not been exposed to certain pollens, then every year there's different pollen in the air. So we saw a lot of people that didn't have allergies, and after the hurricanes, suddenly they had allergies because it just stirred up a whole different group of pollen. Yeah. So a good thing too is like looking at the local honey, because it's going to each year have all those natural pollen, that natural stuff in it. So if you start eating your honey, you're going to expose your body to all those pollens and allergens and kind of start building a response.
Really interesting. I was telling you that my sister has 2 little ones and my daughter has a little one, all 3 babies. And it's been fascinating to listen to the pediatricians introducing peanuts and how to introduce some of these allergens earlier and earlier to create an immune
when kids were young, like back when I first started practicing, it was like nothing before 12 months. Now they're like, yeah, just give it to them as soon as possible, because they want that exposure. And that builds up like a kind of an immune response to that allergen that could come to play later in life.
Well, I remember having my kids, and I'm 67 and they're in their 40s. And I mean, a dollop of peanut butter and an egg were some of the first things you gave babies.
Yeah, we've gone back and forth.
Yeah.
The same thing with like laying on the back or laying on the stomach of babies. Like it kind of goes, just new data or new information. But
what do you recommend when somebody comes in and they have these sneezy, coughy kinds of things? I know that we were talking before with Jessica and Jeremy, and we were talking about getting negative tests, and boom, all at once you get an antibody test and you come back positive for COVID, or that you had it at some time.
Right.
What do you recommend people do? I mean, how do we really know symptomatically what we're looking at? Is fever
I think
component?
fever is a really good indication that it's not allergies.
Okay.
That it's something else, and that would definitely prompt you to get a flu test or a COVID test. Again, we're not seeing as much flu, which is just because I think people are being more cautious.
Right.
But to get those tests before you just think it's allergies. But if you're just the oozy eyes and the runny nose and the, kind of dry cough, like, I mean, those are just more symptoms of allergies. But
We talk about all the bad things with COVID. What do you think some of the good things that have come about with COVID are?
Well, I think like going along the lines of people just realizing, oh yeah, it's really good to wash my hands, and wearing a mask. I know it's kind of controversial, but it has prevented us from having a lot of flu this season. So there's got to be something in play there with the washing the hands and the, just being more cautious, covering your mouth when you cough and things like that. So I think there's some benefits that people are going to see maybe in the future.
Well, and I think I've said this before, I always thought I was the best hand washer in the whole world, and I'm really diligent about it.
Yeah.
And I did one of those Woods blacklight things.
Oh, yeah.
It was so embarrassing. because you think you're really...
You do.
So I think that is the best.
I know. I'm the same way, because I sit there and I sing happy birthday.
Yeah.
And I wash my hands really good. I move my rings around.
Right,
I
me
try
too.
to get underneath it. And I probably wash my hands like 40, 50 times a day working in the lab and stuff. And it's still hard to just get into all those areas.
We're going to take a fast break. We're going to come back. There's so much to talk about. We're just trying to decipher what's going to be the most fun for our next segment here.
Right.
So stay with us. We'll be back here on Girl Talk.